Well, hello there everyone, this is CyanMark3 and welcome back to From the Ashes campaign in From the Depths. I almost said Factorio again. That's like the third time that's happened. And it's not quite the From the Ashes campaign, this is actually the vehicle designer. And welcome to a creation by Super Scarab 120, I believe his name is. One moment. Yep, Super Scarab 120. They said that they built a pretty cool tank design that could work in a campaign and it suits the insect theme I've gone with for naming. And I wanted to just quickly show it to you guys because it is actually a really cool looking insect themed vehicle. Or rather, two vehicles, I think. Volume 1866 and Volume 1. Yeah, I thought so because when I looked at this thing in the first place, my first reaction was, no, this is too big to spawn in, and they've got around that quite handily by having a tractor-trailer kind of setup for this. I can never quite get the name right of it. One moment. For the Arthropleura Heavy Assault Tank. And it's an impressive-looking machine. That's why I just wanted to show it off. I mean, it's got the moving pincers, it's got a centipede vibe going on, it's got lots of guns, and it's got lots of particle cannons on it, but sadly I won't be using this in the campaign for two reasons, really. First off, it's not my design. I was thinking maybe bringing in some special designs, if they work right. Maybe I still will do that, like a single group leader or something might be someone else's design. But not this one, unfortunately, despite how it looks, and that's for the second reason, and that is that it doesn't work well enough, sadly. I mean, don't get me wrong, this thing is really cool, it's got decent forward cannons, it's got lots of particle cannons in the back, which gives it some nasty punch when it needs it, and it's also shown me a way to use particle cannons that I wasn't aware of before, so again, thank you for that. I didn't know that the apertures could act like separate firing pieces, so they only fire from one direction. I thought it was like click the button and they all fire off at once in all their different directions, but nope, that's not how they work, so thank you. But my main issue is that it just doesn't work well enough. I mean, the side cannons look great like that, but they can't traverse up and down, so any kind of hilly terrain, and they can't really hit much of anything at all. The particle cannons will have to do that. And the second thing is, I've been throwing this thing against a bunch of white flayers guys, which are my current opponents, and what I've discovered is that the shields do a lot to deflect the damage, so they give this thing a lot of its endurance. But the moment something pierces the shields, well, it's like a couple of shots pierce the shields and then suddenly the front section just spontaneously combusts because its armor plating just can't resist the shell. So it's good looking, but it's a bit of a glass cannon and it detonates too easily, so yeah, sorry about that. Even so, very cool vehicle, and I just wanted to quickly show that off. So let's destroy it. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to stay in the designer for a little bit at least, and that is... Why am I placing it here? Let me down, thank you. I'm going to stay in the designer at least for a little bit, and then I'll come back to the main campaign and get straight back into that fight, which was starting at the end of the last episode. And that's because I'm going to start building my next generation vehicle here. I seem to be doing this a lot actually, build a new vehicle every episode and things like that. But this is going to be my first attempt at a heavy tank, something more powerful, more expensive, and I'm doing it based on a weapon system that I remembered from quite a while back, which I developed for fighting the Deepwater Guards in the Meta campaign. It's not all fancy schmancy and oh look at how clever this design is. Look how clever I am as well because I'm just clicking all the wrong stuff. No. If anything, this weapon system can be called brute force and ignorance. Yeah, I think that's a good name for it. Brute force and ignorance. Yep, I think that describes this weapon system quite accurately, to be honest. Let me quickly explain to you what exactly I'm doing. First off, quad barrels, 4 separate guns, so it's like a condensed version of the Venture Artillery in my survival run. As you can see, it's much shorter barrels, things like that, and that's because it fires a much shorter slug. Well, I say slug, it's not really a slug at all. Let's show you that as well. What I have down here are those 2 ammo loaders, well, ammo patterns, fitted with what I want these shells to be firing. And this is where the brute force side of things comes into it, so yeah. Both charges have a single gunpowder on them, and then a... oh, what was the name of it? Inertial fuse. Yeah, inertial fuse. Which is set to absolute 0, so at the moment the shell deflects, it's supposed to go bang, you know, things like that. And then for payloads, one shell is twin HE warhead, the other shell is twin flak warhead. So I think you can see where I'm going with this. The point is to deliver as much explosive power onto targets as possible using the smallest 500mm shell possible with the required parts, namely the the inertial fuse. I'm sorry, my health is pretty bad right now, and it's throwing me for a loop more often than not. So yeah, fun times. Anyway, so it does that, but the other point of this thing being 4 long instead of 2 is that it drops the kinetic power of the shell enough to get it below 1 armor piercing. And that makes it a lot more likely to detonate on impact with a shield. So the white flares with all their shields and things running around like going, haha, look at me, I'm going to deflect all your cannon shells and things like that. If they get smacked on the shield with one of these shells, the shell is highly likely to just go blow up in their face. And because they're 500mm shells, they may be a bit more expensive and slower firing for me, but even the flak shell will deliver a couple of thousand damage straight through the shield, straight to the flare vehicle. So yeah, that's the point. Indirect damage against a heavily shielded opponent. I did double check these things to make sure they still worked as I thought they did, and they do pretty well. So now it's a case of getting a weapon system into the campaign to actually mount them and start throwing them in the general direction of my opponents. What else should I say? Yeah, I've got a flak version of the shell because I want to make sure that shields that are further away from the main body get hit, and so they can still deal damage to the vehicle straight through it. And so I'm going to have 2 of these barrels firing flak shells, the other 2 firing HE shells. But there's no way in hell these shells are going to hit a fast-moving target. They can just dodge it way too easily. So it's definitely an anti-ground or anti-base kind of weapon. Okay, there we go. Brute force and ignorance. Yeah, sorry. That kind of does apply to me right now. As you can see, I've rigged it all up with recoil suppression and things like that, and then I've gone and attached some railgun section to it as well, just for improved accuracy. When this thing first fires, it'll be pretty accurate, but it's going to be quite limited in its recharging abilities, because ignore all this, this is just for testing purposes. Just to get the cannon fired up. Let's go ahead and get control of this thing. Come on, give me control. Ah, never mind, I'm just going to find control computer. There is something I wish to address, and that is well, I try to have some integrity, you know, stuff like that. And my comments last time on the whole resource size comparison thing that was going on, I must openly admit that I actually didn't read that quite right, And since I don't pre-script the episodes, it's like I think it came across as a kind of, well, apparently I twisted the words that were said to me and I took them worse than they were, and I think I conveyed that impression to you guys as well in the video, and I would like to apologise for that because that was not my intention. Despite how much I talk and blather on, I'm not the best speaker, and I am actually an introvert, not an extrovert, and my social skills are very lacking. I must admit that. So I done goofed. I apologise for hurting your feelings, but that is something that I did, and I am sorry. I'm sorry for doing that. So yeah, sorry. Now this is ready, so let's test fire it. All 4 shells should be loaded by now. Very slow tracking, 500mm. Bang. Yeah. And the accuracy is coming back down. Okay, well, what's the cooldown like? Still cooling. Okay. I think I've over-engineered this cannon too. Then again, I can't see the shells. Where are the shells going? How long does it take to cool down? Autoloader 1.4, cooldown 12 seconds. Okay, that's not great. Definitely kicks when it goes off though, I'll give it that one. Yeah, I think I can strip away most of the cannon, actually. Okay, while I'm apologising, there is something else I need to apologise to you guys for as well, and this is a general thing rather than aimed at someone specifically. And that is, I need to apologise for the survival series, which has effectively dropped off the face of the planet. And that is actually pretty accurate. It has dropped off the face of the planet. It appeared last Monday and then it's not appeared since, so it's been over a week since that updated. I am pretty sure that's annoyed some people, and I am sorry for that as well. And the reason for that is this: I am rebuilding the cookie wagon, as I said I would at the end of the previous episode, and so it is currently very safely parked in a blue zone, getting rebuilt and reworked. The new vehicle is about the same size. No, not the size, it's actually much bigger. It's hit the same resource cost roughly as the cookie wagon itself, and it's only about a third done, somewhere around that. It's looking functional, but the reason the video's not been appearing is because I was wanting to bring them all together into one video and then combine it all, so that in that one video you get skipping further and further forward as the build progresses, and then you get the new vehicle finished to the best of my abilities and my available resources at the end of that video. So that's what I was trying to do with it. But now I'm wondering, because of how long it's taking me and how I'm struggling to put together that and actually get it done in a good time, if you guys would prefer if I don't do that and I actually release some of that to you as smaller videos instead, so you know that it's actually still going on and I'm getting to it as my time and energy allows me to, and I'm still working on that. So yeah, if you want, I would like some feedback on that, and just try and see what you guys want on that. Sorry, I should be building as I talk, but I'm trying to focus on just getting what I want to say across, and so I'm just making a bigger and bigger mess of this, aren't I? What's the reload time? Total loading speed 0.71. 14.1. Wait, where's the... loads. Where's the reload timer in this? I'm pretty sure there's a reload timer in this, and it's probably staring me in the face. What's a load of... Never mind. Stop looking for figures. You're just not. You're not up to it right now, Aiden. Just come on. Anyway, so that's what's going on with the adventure run. And the other thing that's I want to mention is this particular series. And I want to know if you guys are okay with how it is going right now. Actually, I'm going to leave the core of this gun alone. I need to get moving. Since I reversed my build order, I need to get the turret built and then I'll build the vehicle to support it. Anyway, yeah. This series, I am very, very aware of my overall slow rate of progress. I've noticed that all of my series really tend to be kind of a slow burning kind of series. I think it's the best way to describe it. Very slow burning series. Am I in the right mode? No, I need to be in vehicle mode. Okay. Very slow burning series, as in it takes me a while to get anywhere. I need a one-axis turret, thank you. Just pop that underneath that. So, is that okay? Are you guys happy with the speed of the series? Do you want me to speed it up? Because I spend most of my time just building stuff and then talking to you guys as I build it, and then usually there's some fighting in there as well. So it's kind of a mixture. Like it's part build time and parts. No, it's light blocks. Okay, it's part build time and parts, like part combat usually. Though sometimes it can be all build. I also know that one. Here, yes, here is fine. Okay. I need to get some metal blocks out. Actually, no, I don't. Yeah. No, yes, no. What am I doing? Is that okay? Yeah, that'll be okay. Like that. No, like that, because I've got that extra bit of recoil suppression on top. Okay. So that is a thing going on. And I need to be 6 long. Like that. No, not like that. But I'm also aware of Lathland. Like, I know that sometimes you guys have compared me to him, and he's also very prominently displayed on my channel front page as a related channel kind of thing, because quite frankly, yes, he is a massive inspiration, and I do like most of his stuff and things like that. But I'm also very aware of my overall slow, laid-back pace to things, and the fact it takes me a long time to get anywhere and to explain anything, as this video is a very good example of that. I've spent so long talking and trying to get what I'm trying to say across that the video time is running away with me, and this is going to be a longer than normal video, and rah, that kind of thing. So I'm doing great this time around. It's all because I can't flip in focus properly. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay. So yeah, the way that Lathrix goes around about it is that he cuts out all his building time, really, except for a few key points and things like that, while I show a lot of my building time, a lot more than he does. He says he does that because he changes his mind so much and things like that in the middle of a build, so he cuts it out, so stop changing his mind. I don't do that. I have a general idea and then I evolve it as I go kind of approach. That's my one. So I usually have at least a vague idea of what I'm doing. Yeah, 5 tubes fine, sure. Like right now I'm actually adding a sub-turret on top of my primary turret, so I've got one turret and then a separate turret stacked on top of that. And the separate turret's going to be missile firepower to add a supporting weapon to the primary cannon, which is so slow and not very flexible. And then down here I've got 2 turrets on top of each other, like this, and I'm going to have separate AIs so they can run separately on separate targeting. So the big cannon will go after the biggest, toughest thing it can see, and the missiles will go after whatever is able to get around the primary cannon, because the missiles will be able to go after aircraft and small fast targets and things like that, because they'll be fast tracking, fairly low yield, but just like that. But I've hooked it together with a light block, so they should be pointing in different directions and spinning around and generally not getting in each other's way that much overall. Fingers crossed. But yeah, he gets through his campaign so much faster than I have been doing. And I'm looking for reassurance. I want to know if you guys think that is okay. Should I speed things up? Should I be cutting out some of the building time? Should I record in a different pattern? I don't know. Because this is the way I've been doing things, yes. But that doesn't mean I don't want to improve. And I won't change at all. I'm pretty set in my ways, but I will still make changes. And I wish you couldn't see the lasers on these things when they're not pointing at things. But yes, these are also going to be laser-guided missiles as well, just to make sure they can go after things where I want them to. So yeah. That's enough blabbering and enough insecurity from me, I think. Because that's taken up another whole chunk of time, hasn't it? Oh. This skip is probably going to go right to when the vehicle is nearly complete, because of how much time I've spent talking while I've been working on the weapon system. So, yeah, sorry about that. It's just how this video is turning out, and man, I've got myself depressed now. Yeah, I'll catch you in a little bit. Anyway, this is not the best armor. I'm probably going to up armor this if I've got the volume limit allowance, but I've spent rough getting on towards 2/5 to a half of the allowance on those two turrets. I think it's about 2/5, so that leaves the rest of the volume allowance for the rest of the vehicle. I've mounted the detection systems. The upper missile turret has most of the initial detection systems. Actually, it has all of those right now. It has twin cameras as well to help. The blunt force and ignorance turret has got that's not coaxial. What is it? I'm sorry. When I get like this, I'm rubbish with names. I really, 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 really am. Where is it? I get rubbish at finding things as well. Coincidence rangefinders. So yes, I've got a 9-meter coincidence rangefinder on that turret, plus another camera to help keep track of targets. There's probably going to be some detection systems on the main body of the tank as well, because if we lose the top turrets, don't want to lose all of the tracking. So yeah, there is that. This episode is going to be a long one. Oh jeez. Well, I called the Scarab MBT original version of prototype, but this is a vehicle that really just deserved the name, actually. So this is definitely going to be a prototype class. I mean, geez. Okay, this is my first attempt at an actual heavy tank as far as From the Ashes is concerned. I'm sorry there's not going to be any fighting this episode, because I've been going on for so long and I'm actually feeling pretty sick, so I need to lie down. Kind of urgent, but yeah. 30,800 total resource cost, maximum speed of 42, which is actually a real improvement over things going on before. And it can turn relatively well, though it does need to decelerate a bit too. Whoops, there we go. Oh, it does that. It shouldn't get stuck on hills because I've got the main tracks, and I've also got some backup tracks underneath the thing as well, so if it tries to bounce on top of a peak, it'll tip over and still have power and stuff like that, so it'll keep on going. Armour is primarily metal armour, with plenty of repair bots and a couple of repair tentacles installed, mostly sloped, so that'll help deflect things, and mostly a couple of meters thick as well, so that'll help ensure projectiles don't get past. At the back, I have actually gone and splashed out a bit and reinforced this section here, which houses all of my fuel and ammunition, and there's a great deal of ammo and fuel on this thing. So 10,000 fuel, 3,800 ammo to try and keep up with the weapon systems, though ammo is probably going to be a bit of an issue with the cannons. Speaking of the cannons, I did check the maths, and the 4 auto-loaders per barrel is actually needed for their rate of fire, considering how slow the shells actually load up, so the cannon is actually the right size. I tried going for a different style of shaping the turrets, and I don't think it's worked out too well, so I'm not going to do this again, because it's only half recessed. So I've got the top half exposed with the turret armouring on it, that turns around, and then I've had to build the bottom half into the hull armour, and I'm not happy overall with that. So I do prefer to have, if I'm going to recess the turret, I want to fully recess it like I did in the survival series. Like, have all the stuff separate, then it connects through a small hole so you can more easily get the hull armour around to better protect the main cannon's components, rather than having so much of it exposed like this. That's a serious weak point in this design. And another is to call it prototype. Of course, the main feature is the secondary missile turret on top, as well as the heavy short-barreled artillery piece, which is the main weapon. So this thing, if it can survive, it's going to pack one hell of a punch. And it shouldn't flip over because of how well the treads are spaced out. So yeah, this thing is going to be something like a glass cannon. It's got some protection, but it's going to hit really hard when it connects. So that is definitely a thing. Engine power, it's got a fuel engine, but it's a really inefficient one because I was running out of space, so I had to cram that in. If I was to do a proper rebuild of this thing, then I would definitely address the engine. And I would also address the turret and the armouring and so many things about this design already, but it's completed, so it's ready to go into the campaign itself, and it will fit. And it's at a fairly reasonable price point for what it brings to the table, I think. Just don't send it out alone. It needs screening vehicles, that much is pretty certain. What else should I say? Oh yeah. To try and help protect the turret, it's got heavy armouring around that as well. Though, because of how the turret armour is shaped, when it turns, it keeps exposing gaps in it, so another reason for it being called a prototype, I guess. In terms of shielding, though, it's got all-around reflective shielding on the hull and an additional layer of reflective shielding on the turret, so it should be able to stand up to some projectile fire. So it does have that going for it. Okay, let's turn the AI. Are the AIs active? Both are. Tell them to stop attacking salvage. Yeah, this one, I don't know why I can tell this secondary one to ignore salvage, but this one I can't. It seems that the mode selectors, if you have the navigation AI cards in it, you can't tell it to ignore salvage, which is a bit odd. But that's what was causing me problems a little while ago. Anyway, since I've got that set, let's go ahead and spawn an enemy really quickly for a combat test. Give me a white flare, since that's what you're supposed to be fighting against. Give me a tank. Give me a Ravager. I seem to remember that one. Let's go ahead and try that. Now, where is it? Oops. Oh, the tank spotted at least. Oh, that is very far away. But there goes the shells. And it didn't rock the tank at all from what I can see. Oh yeah, I still need to program the AI for this thing, don't I? Ravager's firing back, but my shells are going out again. I don't have any anti-missile defences, I must note that, but... Ooh, yep, not much damage at all, really. How's the Ravager doing? Oh, they're going to collide. Bang. Yeah, don't let it get too close. That is another thing. I need to prioritise enemies that are getting too close to it. Why isn't the main AI firing? Give me that. Thank you. Turn, turn, turn. It's a high-sitting turret too, so that is a slight problem. Can you fire, please? Ow. Okay, I blew off the end of my own barrels, but I did serious damage to the enemy cannons as well, so there is that. I just wish it wasn't pushing me around so much. Yeah, this thing is definitely not built for close work. Keep enemies away at all costs. Wow, that is just definitely yeah, I think this needs a full force of scorpions and scabs and things to protect it. Oh, it's backed away. Okay. One, you can do this. Turn around and... yeah, that blew off part of its side. Straight through its shielding. That's what it's meant to do. Though, all of my designs, when you get close, they suffer like this. So, that's enough babbling. I think this episode's going to hit somewhere towards the 40-minute mark. That's way, way too long. But that is going to be it, and I just hope my game hasn't frozen or anything like that. Well, the recording anyway. So yeah, I'm going to call it there. This thing needs a name, so again, please give me names in the suggestions below, and colour scheme as well, because it does need that, and it's just getting fixed up right now. Also, I've not had much by way of names and things for the mobile refinery, so I'm still accepting suggestions for that since it's not actually come up in this particular video. But I've got to call it there. This has been Iron Mark 3. Thank you very much for watching if you stuck with me this far and put up with all my babbling and feeling sorry for myself and all that. I'm sorry about that, but that's just how it's gone, isn't it? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you some other time. I'll see you later.